All right, folks, this is a Oklahoma weather alert here at 2:35 on this Tuesday afternoon. William Cole here with you live in the Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV Forecast Center. And we are tracking a grass fire now on the northwestern sides of the Oklahoma City Metro. And lead storm tracker Phillip McGee, he is there on location in the Oklahoma Customs official Oklahoma Weather Tracker Storm Chaser truck. And Phillip, you're on the live line with us. I'm going to show your live GPS location here in just a second, but right now we have your live stream up. Go ahead and tell us exactly where you are and what you're seeing now early this afternoon.
Okay, William, I am at 178th and Meridian, and I'm looking to the south and southeast as the fire is on the east side of the Meridian and is burning to the south and east. These north winds are pushing it, towards some of the housing addition over there. The Oklahoma County Sheriff is sitting in front of us. We tried to get a little bit closer so that we could show the folks, but they basically have traffic blocked off in all different directions, trying to, to get this thing under fire or under control. But I'm telling you, since I've been on my way over this way, and it took me about 15 minutes to get here, this thing has cycled up and down. I mean, it's gone from basically the plume of smoke that you're seeing on the live stream right now to just massive amounts of smoke. So, there's cedar trees. You can kind of see that in the stream. And those things just, with this type of weather, as dry as it is right now, just act like gasoline. And so anytime that it hits that, it actually makes things even worse. And with that wind pushing the way that it is, those embers get elevated, and it just spreads further and further and further. So these guys have definitely got their work cut out for them, trying to get this fire put out.
Phillip McGee, there's no doubt about that. Hey, I want to show your GPS location here just real quick, just to show everybody where you are. We've still kept your live stream up there in the corner. And with live mesoscan radar, again, you can see the red dot right there that says Phillip. Again, that's exactly where he is. And Phillip, what's your exact location there? Again, it looks like you're, are you on Edmond Road, or tell us again exactly where you are looking to the south?
I am basically right at the edge of Edmond Road and Meridian, looking to the south and southeast.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly where we have you there in the GPS. I thought that was Edmond Road. I just couldn't see from where I was right here. But again, so the reports that we have right now is that at least this fire could be affecting some homes. The way it looks right now, the fire just on the opposite side of the road as some homes. Are you getting any information there? I know you've got your scanner up and running. Are you getting any information off the scanners as what the fire officials are saying as far as the containment of this fire so far?
I haven't heard any reports yet, William, as to what percentage that they do have contained. As I was sitting here and before we did the live update, it did spark back up again, and there was, just a massive amount of smoke. So I'm assuming that it either hit more of those cedar trees. Hopefully, like I said, because we're limited right now as far as visibility, but hopefully it hasn't affected any homes over there. But they continue to bring more and more fire trucks. I just seen one of the Deer Creek pumper trucks come in from just behind me, and now there's another one coming in from the east. And so, like I said, they've definitely got their hands cut out, or their work cut out, trying to get this thing put out.
No doubt about it right there, Phillip. So as you're looking off to the south right there, and again, basically the traffic is stopped, so you couldn't get any further. No one's really allowed any further in there. I know you'd spoken with the police official, that may be a county sheriff. I can't really tell from your shot right there. But again, what were they saying? Did they give you any kind of information were there any kind of evacuations going on, or is it just basically that the road was closed and no one could travel any further south there?
That was all the information that they gave me, William, is that the road was closed. They weren't allowing anybody to drive down there as far as media at all because there's so many, vehicles that are coming in from all directions. That was Edmond's pump truck right there that just turned, live in front of us, and the officer had to back up a little bit in order for the truck to be able to make it in there. Right as it sits, and it might kind of be blocked by the stop sign, and my screen's kind of fading in and out a little bit too. The reception, I'm sitting underneath some pretty high tension power lines, and it's having some effect on my signal. But that being said, there's at least 3 pump trucks, and maybe even looks like a large engine that's setting down here, and there's another vehicle that's coming in from somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. It's coming in behind me. So, I mean, they're having a hard time getting this thing contained. It's got a lot of fuel because of all those cedar trees. The grass is extremely dry. You can see the dry woods in front of us, and so that's only making matters worse.
Absolutely, we can hear the fire truck right there passing you as well. Keep in mind, Phillip McGee's stream is probably about 15 to 30 seconds delayed, so what we just heard we'll be seeing on his live stream. Again, there you're seeing it in the corner of your screen right there, that fire truck obviously going fairly quickly. Again, I just want to show you, this is Phillip McGee's live GPS location, so here he is basically up here near the Edmond Road area. Again, he's shooting to the south. This is the smoke plume, and this is a large smoke plume that, again, we're picking up on radar as, again, that smoke is lifting now to the north and to the northeast from that fire. And, again, we'll take Phillip McGee's live shot here, again, full screen. But, again, you know, fire weather conditions today, folks, they do continue just like yesterday. We're not really in that extreme category like we were yesterday. But again, with all the dry vegetation around Oklahoma, the at least fairly breezy winds today, again, fire weather concerns continue. Any kind of outdoor burning is absolutely discouraged. You know, don't throw any of those cigarette butts out the window. Again, these are the kind of things that happen, you know, potentially with that type of scenario. And Phillip, from where you are right now, I mean, again, other than seeing, you know, again, multiple fire trucks still responding, obviously they're calling in some additional resources to respond to that fire. Again, anything else when you were talking to that, when you're talking to that local police officer? I can't tell if that's police or sheriff there that you were talking to. I mean, was there any other information that he passed along to you as far as, you know, maybe the conditions on past the road? Because, again, we have had reports that that fire is at least on the opposite side of the road of some houses. And, again, it could be affecting some houses here really, you know, fairly imminently. So that's obviously a big concern. Was there any other kind of information that he passed along to you when you were down there talking to him?
No, not at the moment. The main concern is just trying to divert traffic out of that area and let the you know, authorities do what they've got to do. As we're sitting here, William, I'm looking, and there's another area that's kind of flared up, and it's going to be right next to the road. If you look just to the left of the stop sign, you can see that area of smoke that has started to kind of billow up a little bit more than the rest of it. Now, the main part of the actual fire looks to be more further to the east of that, but again, you know, we're talking about that dry vegetation, and those embers get lifted, you know, not only from the heat, but from this wind that's out of the north, and so it'll move them, you know, maybe 100 yards down the road in front into that dry vegetation, and then it just starts to process all over again. So they get one spot put out, and then they're basically just playing hopscotch out across that grass.
Yeah, that's a great point right there, and that's exactly, that's the key thing. The nice thing about it is today is the winds aren't as extreme as what we saw yesterday, so those ambers, again, they're not able to travel quite as far as some of the grass fires we saw yesterday when the winds were really ripping from the north at, you know, 35 to maybe 50 miles per hour. Yesterday, you know, those ambers could get picked up from the fire and blown quite a distance, and of course that helps the fire spread potentially. Today the winds, I mean, they're still breezy out there, but again, not as strong as yesterday, so any of those ambers that do get picked up by the wind and again blown on downstream, again, at least they're still kind of right there within that containment zone that the firefighters are working. So that's one difference, and that's a good point, Phillip, that we're seeing today as opposed to yesterday. But again, you can still see the smoke plume here on Mesoscan radar. Again, you're also seeing Phillip McGee's live GPS location there with the red dot. And again, that's a fairly impressive smoke plume, folks, that again you are seeing on radar there. And again, it is blowing, you know, obviously the winds are from the north, so that smoke plume, it's blowing from the north to the south. So again, this is where the fire is originating from, right there just to the north of Lake Hefner. And again, everything you're seeing here is just downstream with those northerly winds, again, blowing the smoke downstream. But again, Phillip McGee, from his live location there, just on the northern sides of that fire, of course, we've seen multiple resources still being pulled in, more fire trucks, more firefighters. Of course, that area is blocked off right now. There's either a city cop there or it's a county sheriff, I'm not sure which one, that again has the road closed. And again, potentially we've had reports that there could be some houses that are potentially that could be impacted by this fire as well, still just across the street from some houses there. Phillip, again, it looks like maybe the smoke is starting to kind of wane down a little bit from what we've seen here over the last 15 minutes. Would you agree with that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like that they might be getting a handle on it. That area that we were talking about over there just to the left of the telephone lines that were running across there seems to be that they maybe have that possibly under control. I'm not going to say that it's 100% because, like we said before, as I was making my way over to get coverage on this, it would be this way. It would kind of thin out a little bit, and then the next thing you know, it takes right and picks back right up in intensity. So that is the Oklahoma County Sheriff that has the road blocked off in front of me. And I just stepped outside for just a second and took my anemometer to kind of get a measurement of the winds. Now we're setting, in a lower area. So the winds are probably going to be a little bit higher because that is setting up more on top of the hill over there. But I had gusts up to and over 20 miles an hour in this low area right here where I'm at. So I would say probably 25 miles an hour over there where they're trying to fight that fire.
And that was off of your handheld anemometer? Is that what you're saying, Phillip?
That's off my handheld anemometer, and like I said, the max gust was at 21.6 miles per hour.
Yeah, so I went ahead and pulled up live wind gusts here. This is off the Oklahoma Mesonet. These update every 5 minutes, so these are truly live numbers. But again, really across Oklahoma County from Spencer over to the West OKC station there, anywhere from 20 to approaching 25 miles per hour. So again, winds fairly breezy, almost going on gusty across the state, again, right here in central Oklahoma. So again, unfortunately, again, when you have all that dry vegetation out there, fairly low relative humidities at least, and then again, these breezy to potentially gusty winds. Again, that's why that fire danger remains today, at least, in the very high category. But again, we are seeing that now that's a fairly large grass fire there in northwestern Oklahoma City. As we go back to your live stream, Phillip, again, the one thing that could potentially be good, we don't have any confirmation yet that maybe the fire officials are starting to get a little bit of a handle on this fire, but I can tell you over the last 15 minutes, the smoke plume that we saw when Phillip first arrived there on location to what we're seeing now, there is definitely a big difference. Again, we're not seeing as much smoke, and that doesn't always necessarily mean anything, but that could be taken as though there is some type of improvement now on this fire, that the fire officials are getting a little bit more of a handle on this fire. Phillip, again, with your live position there, you're looking directly at the scene there. Again, is that your take on it as well? Is that, again, the smoke plume or the smoke that's coming up potentially from the fire, again, it's starting to kind of at least not be as intense as what we saw about 15 to 20 minutes ago?
That is correct. I've noticed that the intensity has really started to drop down as far as that smoke plume. It looks like that they are finally getting a handle on it. I've been listening to the scanner too as we've been doing this live update. I've not heard anything officially from the fire department, but just as a visual cue, it looks like that things are starting to kind of calm down a little bit.
Well, that would be good news right there for sure, especially with the at least the potential for some of those homes to be impacted by the fire. So that would be best case scenario, is that, again, if fire officials are starting to get a handle on this fire. But again, it was definitely burning quite large and out of control. And in fact, even just to kind of second what Phillip was saying there, kind of our observations there from his live stream as far as the smoke, at least intensity, what we're seeing starting to come down as we switch back over to live radar. With the radar, we can actually pick up on smoke plumes. And this is about a 45-minute loop here in movie mode. And again, you can see basically when that fire originally started, and then there's the smoke plume moving downstream. But here as we get closer to the live frames here on the loop, if you will, again, we're even starting to see the smoke intensity on radar starting to come down as well. Of course, there's Phillip's live GPS location, so he's shooting to the south looking at it. But again, even based on radar, it looks like we are starting to see some improvement on this fire as well. And again, that might be another indication that fire officials are starting to get a handle on it as well. But again, Phillip, from your location right there, we're going to wrap this update up. We're going to have more on this coming up on Oklahoma Weather Live at 4 o'clock here a little bit later on today. But again, at least right now, it appears as though there are some improving conditions there, again, with that grass fire. Phillip, go ahead and give us your location one more time where you're sitting and looking to the south.
I am just north of Edmond Road at Meridian, looking to the south. And just to kind of back up what you were saying, the smoke and everything else has really died down in intensity. I'm seeing actual pumper trucks or grass trucks moving along the areas now, along those telephone poles, and then further areas to the east. So they're able to get their vehicles out now into that area, and combat that fire. I would say that they probably have it well under control now. I've not heard anything official on the scanner, but just from the looks of things, it has toned down tremendously.
Yeah, some definite improvement, and that's the good news right there. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to take a quick break here. Of course, we have Oklahoma Weather Live coming up just a little bit later on today. Of course, we'll have a complete update then, but also as needed. We'll also have more updates as needed. That's basically all the information we have. It looks like, again, there is some improvement on this fire. Keep in mind, fire danger across Oklahoma in the very high category today. Again, any kind of outdoor burning, strongly discouraged. Of course, you never want to throw out those cigarette butts anyway. But again, we are keeping an eye on this at least smoldering fire now still. Phillip McGee is there live. And again, we'll be talking with him coming up just a little bit later on. And again, we'll also have more updates as needed. Otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.